and welcome to our advent calendar for 2019. So this year we've decided to go a little bit different, and our homemade gifts are going to all be layouts to go into a calendar. So for each month of the year, we are creating a layout, and generally speaking, for me anyway, the photos in that layout sort of directly link with that month. So January. Does anyone know what exciting thing happened in January for young Katie? If you are a long-time fan of ours, you will know that that's when Link was born. So bonus points if you guessed that. So this is going to be very much a calendar about Link, actually, but this particular layout is definitely going to be about Link because it is going to be his first birthday in January. So I've started off with a plain white piece of 12 by 12. This paper is very thick. It is thicker than American Crafts cardstock. It is super thick. I don't know what it is exactly, but it is super thick. So I haven't gessoed or anything my paper. I also don't own gesso, so that's partly why it's not been gessoed, but I'm not doing a huge amount of mixed media. So I've squeezed out some, I think it's Sea Breeze paint from Kaiser Craft into stripes along here, and I'm just doing 4 stripes along my page. Nothing overly extravagant. A really cheap and awful paintbrush. What I was doing before was actually cutting the ends off the paintbrush so the bristles were more even and not so randomly bristly because it wasn't giving me a nice edge, which is what I wanted. Now, when I have finished with that, I'm going to get some lime green in the same Kaiser Craft branded acrylic paint, and I've just squirted a big dollop of that lime green on the end of a wet brush, a really wet brush. I'm just flicking that onto my page. Bit random, bit higgledy-piggledy, quite messy. Nothing is dry yet, just flicking that all out on there. Tried to do some larger splods of the lime green, but that just wasn't working very well. And I was being too lazy to get something like a palette or a piece of plastic to put the lime green in. So it is what it is. I then have got, I think this collection is from Snap, but I'm not 100% sure. It was gifted in a Happy Mail. Thank you, Janet. And it is super gorgeous and really bright and shiny and colourful and very much our happy little man here. And I've just made some tags using my We Are Memory Keepers tool. And I've already gone ahead and put double-sided tape on the back of all of these. So I am ready to go. So I'm just holding them in place with my hand so they don't wriggle or move. And I'm just peeling the double-sided tape off from the back. In hindsight, I actually don't like that blue one on top. I deliberately did that one because I thought the florally ones were a bit too flowery and girly. But in hindsight, when this layout is finished, and I look at the blue one, it quite stands out as actually being really flat and plain. So I actually wish I had have switched it to be one of the patterned ones on top because, yeah, I just feel like the blue is a little bit flat. These are actually, I'm trying to think what size. I think they're actually 4x6, either pocket page cards or they were from a cut apart. I'm 99% sure they were pocket page cards in that size. I cut a little hexagon out using some of the scrap, but decided I liked that orange one better. It's from the ephemera pack that I'm using. I have no idea what the ephemera pack is. I don't have its label or collection anymore. It is something I picked up from Spotlight, if you are Australian. Yeah, I have no idea. If anyone knows, please feel free to tell me. It's super, super, super old. Maybe Cartabella, but I honestly have no idea. And I've just picked out all the gamey toy type ones. Down the bottom, there's a game controller because that's one of Link's toys that he has, a little kid baby game controller that makes noises and lights up and stuff. So I thought I'd include that on his page. And then I really wanted to use these yellow thickers. Well, they're not thickers, they're chipboard, and they're really, really old as well from my stash. But I really didn't have that many letters left. They're like that super, 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 super old chipboard that just basically had one of every letter, which is not quite true because clearly there's two I's. So maybe it had two of the vowels and one of everything else. I'm not 100% sure, but really not much. And by the time you'd made like one title, you pretty much have nothing left. So I and ahed about all the different things I could call this, and in the end this was about the only thing that I could spell, so I'm just rolling with it because he is a smiling boy. I was going to get some small thickers and put happy little smiling boy or something like that, but in the end I just leave it as it is. I just really wanted that yellow because it ties in with the ephemera and it ties in with that sort of lime colour that I splattered on in the background, and I just really liked the way all the colours went together. Now, at the moment, I haven't done anything with these strings. They're all fully loose, but I'm going to sort of bunch them up underneath that orange arrow shape. So I'm going to put down a piece of double-sided tape straight onto my page, and then I'm going to lay the strings on top of that double-sided sheet just so it sort of has sticky tape, just so they sort of have somewhere to catch. But the whole rest of them are just loose and floppy. They don't really move, of course, because there's not that much give to them, but I just like the look that gives of, that concept of all these tags are being held up together in this up the top. Then I've put a piece of foam behind the tag so that it's got room to like sort of sit on top of all of that thread. And then my two little stars. Where's my little silver one? Here it comes. And they've just stuck on a bit winky wonky. Now I noticed that the orange arrow is a little bit off center holding the tag, so I do move that in a minute just to put it a bit more over to the center. I'm just gluing on this chipboard. This chipboard, often we need to glue on our chipboard thickers anyway, but as I mentioned, this isn't actually thickers, it's actually just chipboards. They're not sticky at all, so they definitely need to be glued on. I felt like this was missing a little bit of something. As I said, that blue tag was feeling really flat and it just needed something over there to sort of lift its game a little bit. But there was nothing in the right colours, so I decided I'd use some tiny word stickers, but those words were like really tiny and they didn't really do anything. So I end up going all out with these really big ones, which are a little bit too full on, but I figure I might as well chuck them in. And this is the Crepe Paper Cool Kid collection. Just those stickers are from. So I've got a little bit of everything happening here. I'm doing some stash diving for these 12 layouts, which I really love because I don't often remember to or get a chance to play in my stash. I buy a kit every month, and usually by the time I've used my kit, I'm pretty scrapped out. And then my next one arrives. So I don't often get into my stash. So I'm really excited to be stash busting for these 12 layouts. So just popping on a few rhinestones, and then it'll be time for the close-ups. So here we are with the close-ups. I hope you have enjoyed my January layout number 1 for our advent calendar. Please stay tuned. You know that there's going to be a video every day in December, and we can't wait to share all of these layouts with you. And you can see us opening up our special gifts. So thanks everyone. Bye.